Hey guys, Mark here from Ratings.com, and today we're comparing the newly released Audio-Technica M60x to the most popular of the ATH-M series lineup, the M50x. Now the M60s are the first on-ear of the series and they're slightly more expensive, at least for now, than the reliable and great sounding M50x. So what do they have to offer that the M50x does not, and are they worth the additional cost? Are you better off sticking with a lower end model of the ATH-M lineup? Well, in this video, we'll compare the design and dive deeper into the sound quality and connection options. Since both headphones are passive and primarily for critical listening, they do not have any active features, inline remotes, or microphones. But as always, let's start with what's in the box. So there isn't much difference in their respective boxes. In the ATH-M50's box, you get a straightforward 1.8 TRS audio cable that's short enough to use with your mobile phone, a longer 1.8 TRS cable, and a 1.8 TRS coiled cable. You also get a 1/4 inch adapter, a pouch, and the ATH-M50 headphones. It's about the same for the M60s, so a straightforward 1.8 TRS, a longer 1.8 TRS, and a coiled one. You also get 2 1/4 inch adapters and a slightly bigger pouch, and the M60 headphones. And that's pretty much it. Now let's get the boxes out of the way and compare the design. So starting off with the build quality, and here the M50x are slightly more durable than the M60s. The M60s are well built and look a bit more premium than the M50s. Also, despite the redesign to fit the on-ear format, they still keep the look and feel of the ATH-M series, especially with the ear cups. They're a bit smaller, but still have the cool Audio-Technica detail on the back, and they have a similar shape, just in a smaller format. The cups also feel dense and durable and should survive a couple of accidental drops, no problem. However, the headband does not feel quite as sturdy as that of the M50x. It's much thinner, it's not as well padded or as durable. The M60s also have stiff joints that do not swivel like the M50s or does not lay flat like the M70x. This results in a less portable design, which is slightly disappointing since the on-ear format is more compact and would have been easier to carry around if you could fold them and just throw them in your bag like the M50s. On the upside, some would prefer the more lightweight design of the M60s. The headband is slightly more flexible, and they have metal yokes, which looks great and feels sturdy and makes them stand out a bit more than the slightly bland design of the M50x. The M50s on the upside have the typical over-ear format of the ATH-M series. They have dense and sturdy ear cups, a durable headband with a metal frame, and come with 3 thick audio cables provided in the box, the same cables as the M60s. They are mostly made out of plastic, but should be sturdy enough to last you a while, which is in part why the M50s are so popular, since they offer a durable studio-like design that would easily survive multiple repeated use and carrying them in your bag with your school, work, or audio gear. As for comfort, here again, the ATH-M50x are a bit better than the M60s. The M60s have an on-ear fit with well-padded ear cups and a fairly loose headband that does not clamp the head as much as typical on-ears. They're also much lighter and a bit more compact, so they won't be as cumbersome as the M50s once you actually have them on. Unfortunately, like most on-ears, they tend to clip the top of your ear, especially if you wear glasses, which might get a bit uncomfortable during longer listening sessions, and the headband isn't as well-padded as the ear cups. The M50s, on the other hand, are over-ears like the rest of the M series. They're comfortable and they fit well around most ears. The cups are decently well padded and the headband is not too tight on the head. However, they are a lot bulkier than the M60s, and since they fully cover your ears, they won't be as breathable during longer listening sessions, which means that you may have to take breaks a bit more frequently than the M60s, as long as you're comfortable with the M60s on-ear fit to begin with. Lastly, both headphones are primarily made for critical listening and studio recording, so while they both come with 3 audio cables each, none of them provide an inline remote to control your music while on the go, and they also do not have any microphones. So overall, design-wise, the ATH-M50x are generally better than the M60x. They have a sturdier, more durable build quality. They're also a bit more comfortable thanks to the over-ear fit that most would prefer over the on-ear design of the M60s. On the other hand, the M60s look better and feel a bit more high-end than the M50x. They're also a bit more compact and less cumbersome once on your head. Unfortunately, they do not fold, which would have made them a bit more portable. Also, since both these headphones are primarily made for critical listening, they won't be the most practical to use outdoors with your phone, especially at their price range. But on the upside, they more than make up for it with their sound quality. Now let's compare the sound, isolation, and leakage with Sam.
Both the M50 and the M60 are very good sounding headphones and are suitable for a wide variety of genres, from bass-heavy EDM to vocal-centric jazz, or even classical. However, between the two, it is the M50 that comes out on top. But before discussing their sound in more detail, let's listen to a recording we have made with these headphones so you can get an idea about their differences for yourself. Just keep in mind that this is a relative comparison and not an absolute one. So it is good for seeing which headphone has more bass or treble, for example, but you won't be able to judge their actual sound profile. And if you get one of these headphones and listen to the same track that we've used here, you most likely won't hear the same thing. So here we have the frequency response of the Audio-Technica M60 on the left and the M50 on the right. As you can see, for the most part, the frequency response of these headphones is pretty similar. Both have a deep and balanced bass, which means they can produce the thump and rumble common to bass-heavy music and film scores pretty well. But they also have a bit of a bump in the high bass region, which makes their sound a tiny bit muddy. The biggest difference between the M60 and the M50, though, is in the mid-range. Both of them have a dip in the lower mid-range, but the dip on the M60 is deeper and higher in frequency, which makes their mid-range a bit thin and hollow in comparison to the M50. This will be mostly noticeable on vocals and lead instruments. Also, the M60 is a bit more emphasized in the high mid region, so it will sound a bit more forward and brighter compared to the M50. The peak in the treble range of the M60, around 7 kHz, also contributes to them being a little brighter and harsher relative to the M50. In terms of frequency response consistency, we noticed some variance in the bass and treble delivery of both of these headphones across multiple subjects and receipts. So depending on the shape and size of your ears and the quality of the fit you get, there may be up to 3 dB of variance in what you hear compared to what our measurements show. Now for isolation and leakage, we have also recorded a comparison, which we're going to play now. First up is isolation. As you probably noticed, neither of these headphones are great at noise isolation because they don't have active noise cancelling. But the M50 does a little bit better than the M60. This is most likely due to their difference in their enclosure design, where the over-ear cups of the M50 fully cover the ear, but the on-ear cups of the M60 only sit on the ear. Looking at the isolation graph, you see that these headphones don't provide any isolation in the bass range, so they won't be able to block the rumbling sound of an airplane or bus engine. Their isolation in the mid-range is also not that good, but the M50 does marginally better. In the treble range, the M60 provides a decent amount of isolation, but again, the M50 performs slightly better. Overall, these won't be the ideal headphones if you have a noisy commute or want to use them on flights. But if you turn up your music a bit louder, it will help to mask some of the noise that passes through your headphones. Now, let's listen to the leakage recording. In terms of leakage, again, neither of these headphones perform great, but the M50 is the winner by a small margin. They both leak noticeably in the mid and treble ranges, but the leakage of the M60 is a little bit louder, especially in the high treble region above 10 kHz, which is most likely due to their on-ear design. If you listen to music at moderate volumes in a place with an average noise like an office, then you don't need to worry about the leakage of these headphones. But if you tend to blast your music, or if you use them in a very quiet environment like a library, then people around you may notice the sound leaking out of your headphones. Now, let's go back to Mark.
As previously mentioned, both these headphones are completely passive and do not have any active components or battery life. You also can't really customize them since they have no app, but if your audio source has a built-in EQ, you can change the sound profile that way. They're also wired, so no latency when watching movies. However, they will be limited by the range of the audio cables since they have no other connection options. Here, both headphones come with 3 thick and durable audio cables. They both have a straightforward 4-foot 116 to 1.8 TRS audio cable that locks into the ear cups like so. The second cable is also straightforward, but a bit longer at 10 foot. And the third is a 4-foot coiled audio cable that can stretch up to 10 feet, which comes in handy if you're working in a studio and often slide around from desk to desk in your chair without disconnecting your gear. Lastly, they both come with a 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapter to use with more heavy-duty audio equipment. So overall, between the M60X and the M50X, which one should you choose? Well, if you mostly care about sound quality, then get the M50X instead. They're a bit better in most aspects. They have a more comfortable over-ear fit. They're also sturdier and more durable, and have a better balanced sound that packs more bass and sounds more exciting on tracks than the M60s. On the other hand, the M60X are one of the better sounding on-ears that we've tested so far, so you're not losing much in terms of sound quality. They also stand out a bit more thanks to their cool redesign and feel slightly more high-end than the M50X. Unfortunately, they're not as portable as they could have been, and the on-ear fit won't be for everyone. However, if you have the budget and like on-ears, then they're a good choice, but in most cases, the M50s are slightly better, especially at the current price. And that's pretty much it. Would you like to see more on-ears like the M60X for critical listeners? And do you have any headphone suggestions that you think would sound better than the M50X? Let us know in the comments below. You can also check out all our measurements on our website. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel or become a contributor. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.